Welcome to Stalking the Pantry with Hal, a series of articles, videos, and other ramblings to provide information and resources to help everyone to be better prepared, and hopefully have some fun along the way. Welcome to another of our virtual canning parties. I'm Hal Meng, and we're back in the kitchen at the Point Defiance Ruston Senior Center. So from those of you who may have seen some of our other videos or read articles on our website, I'm really into looking at some of the groups in our past who've given us a tradition of sustainability and self-reliance. And amongst some of those groups, I really appreciate the work of the Amish, the Hutterites, and the Mennonites. Now, this is outside of looking at their religion, but looking at the structure of how they work to be more self-reliant, but also very giving. Some of the things that they do the best have always been things like jams, jellies, pickles, and baking. So if any of you are interested in good pastry and bread recipes or jams, I will, on our website, in the article that's going to be there, will be a lot of links to places where you can get their books on baking. But one of the most popular Amish jams is their Christmas jam, and that's what we're going to be doing today. So the first thing you want to do is gather all your ingredients, and there should be a little picture coming up here that shows you strawberries, oranges, cranberries, orange zest, a couple of spices, and then there'll be sugar. Now, you might notice that this is a half batch, and you might think, well, that's not much sugar even for a half batch. But we're going to be using Pomona's pectin, which allows you to reduce the batches down to half or even a quarter size, or double or triple them. And it works very well because the pectin itself doesn't rely on the sugar content to set up, but works with a calcium salt. And we'll talk a little bit more when we get closer to putting that in. So what you want to put in to a large container, and I suggest if you're using an immersion blender, that you have some tall sides on it, because if you don't think about it and pull it up too far, you're going to be wearing it, and so will your walls. So you put the cranberries. Like I said, this is a half batch, so it'll look pretty small inside here. And the orange. And then using either a food processor, a blender, or this immersion blender, so you don't want to puree it completely. You want to leave some nice chunks in there. There are a couple of ones too big, but we'll catch them in a moment. And then you want to put in the strawberries. Forgive me, it'll be cooked. And orange zest, cloves, and nutmeg. Then we're going to finish blending it. Now you may have noticed that the zest was in fairly large pieces. I like to make sure that we have some variation in the colors. So you can see. Then we're going to transfer this to our kettle for cooking. As you can see, it's a beautiful color, and the aroma of it is just incredible with the citrus and the spices all mixing together already. So we are using this small pot and an induction burner because we're only making a small demo batch today, which once again I would point out is the beauty of Pomona pectin. And then we let that cook for about 2 minutes. Because of the high sugar content in the citrus, you want to stir it often. These induction burners are very, very quick. Now, one of the interesting things about the Pomona pectin is that it resembles in some ways the properties of cornstarch. If it just is dumped into water, it forms a big clump. So what we want to do is ahead of time, we're going to mix, and I've pre-measured this, the sugar and the pectin together very well, so that when it's time to put it in, it's not going, for whatever reason it is, the sweeteners, especially sugar or honey, the molecules of those sweeteners hold the molecules of the pectin apart. So when it hits the liquid, it doesn't automatically clot up. And then ahead of time, we've mixed a ½ teaspoon of that white powder that we showed you earlier and put it in with a ½ cup of water, and that's our calcium water, and it can be stored in the refrigerator for a long, long time. So when this has come up to a boil, we're going to add in the calcium water. And nothing will happen yet until the pectin goes in. So the beautiful thing about the Pomona's pectin and being able to not have to use the complete amount of sugar if you choose not to, is after you've mixed in the pectin into whatever reduced amount of sugar you think you want for the taste of it, you can have the rest of the sugar set aside to add after it's run. And so now I'm going to go ahead and mix in the sugar and pectin, returning it to a boil. And then this plate, I just got out of the freezer here so that it's cold. And this is what's called a sheeting test. So you can see how it sheets up on the spoon. But you can also see how it sheets up on the plate. And this is a test that said that you've gotten the proportions of the pectin, sugar, and calcium water correct. So I really love this canning ladle that they've come up with because it allows you to pour in all 3 directions, and it scoops really well. And so you want to be sure and do the headroom. Now I'm going to go back and top off some of the ones I'd already done. But for this, the headroom is about 1/4 inch. And that, so that when it's, if you water bath can it, that gives enough time in the water bath to expel that amount of air, create the vacuum. But the really nice thing about this is it can also be a refrigerator jam. If you take it now, put it in the refrigerator, it'll be good for at least 7 days. So there we have it. This particular half recipe has made 3 jars. And now let's see how it tastes. I would even reduce the sugar a little more than I did, but that's the beauty of it. You can adapt it to fit your taste or your dietary needs. So thank you all for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you at our next virtual canning party. Thank you for spending some time with us as we explore preserving food at home. If you'd like more information about the Center for Food Preservation Arts, visit our website at preservefoods.blogspot.com. You can also find more videos on our YouTube channel, and please like us on Facebook. There are links at the end of this video, but also in the comments section. So please join us at our next virtual canning party as we continue stocking the pantry.